Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday, all of today's guests are brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants look to even up their series against Everett in Game 4 tonight at the LEC. Tips up 2-1 in that first-round series. Puck drop at 7. Grab your tickets now at vancouvergiants.com/tickets. We mentioned the Warriors playing tonight at Rogers Arena, and Saturday and Sunday, the Abbotsford Canucks will be hosting Coachella Valley, the Kraken's farm club.
Yes.
Here to talk about the Abbotsford Canucks. Lots of news surrounding them, as always. The voice of the Abbotsford Canucks, our friend Brandon Astle. Brandon, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great and honored to be on your 3-year anniversary show. I watch every day. I don't know why. But this is a big deal. A 3-year run for you guys. You haven't gotten your patented pink slip yet, so fingers crossed we get another 3 under your belt.
Oh, there's still time, Brandon. Don't worry about that. But we said third-year anniversary, we got to get Brandon on the show. It was an easy call. 5 straight wins for Abbotsford, 6 of 7, if I'm not mistaken. What's going right for that hockey club right now?
Yeah, they're just finding a way to close games. It's been a weird second half to the season, Donnie. Since the calendar year turned to 2024, they have religiously lost the first game of a 2-game series, but win the next night. It's happened so many times to just win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They couldn't really get on a winning streak. And sure enough, now they've won 5 games in a row, and they're missing some of their best players for a little while here in Baines, Podkolzin, and Seelov. And they've added a ton of rookies, as you guys have seen over these last few weeks. So go figure. But the team's playing well. They're sticking to their structure. They're kind of playing a playoff-type style right now, I would say. They're making life really difficult for the opponent. They're not giving up much. The offense is coming alive again. The power play's been a lot better as well. That's been an Achilles heel for this season. And so they got a big test coming up against Coachella Valley, one of the best teams in the league. And if they win on Saturday, it'll be a season-high 6-game win streak. And the best part about it all, Donnie, is that it's the young players, the first and second year guys that are leading the way right now. Max Sassen's having an unreal year. Aatu Raty's on fire. Linus Karlsson, he's got 8 points over his last 3 games. And their rookie goaltender, Nikita Tolopilo, who's an absolute weapon, 6'6". He's been awesome since Seelovs went up. It's been his net. And hopefully they can keep it going here this weekend.
You mentioned Aatu Raty, 14 points in 7 games, part of the Bo Horvat trade, just 20 years old. Can you see him making the next step, the step to the NHL anytime soon?
He's got me thinking about it, that's for sure. He's definitely been one of the best players in the league over these last few weeks. Like you said, the run, he's went on 14 points over the last 7 games. He's over the 50-point plateau now, which is really hard for someone at his age to do in the American Hockey League. And he just looks like a completely different player right now. It's amazing what some confidence can do. And the hardest part about doing well in the AHL is finding that consistency on a day-to-day basis. It's a long season, especially in Abbotsford. You're playing a lot of the same teams. It's a grind, back-to-back. So sometimes it can take a little bit to find your game and what type of player you can be. But the thing is, coming into this year, like I interviewed him after the game on Wednesday. First of all, one of the best interviews on the team. I talked to him before I hit record, and I just tell him to stop because what he was giving me was too good, and I wanted it on the record. He was telling me that when he turned pro at 16 in Finland, it took him like 3 full seasons to fully adapt to the pro game. And then after that, he comes over and joins the Islanders organization, plays in the AHL, had some struggles there, had to find his legs. And then mid-season last year, he gets traded to Vancouver. And so that adjustment kind of had to start all over again. And when he got here, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. He struggled. And so there were some question marks as to what can Ratu be? And I give him full credit. He's played in every single game this year. He's playing the wing. And he told me that's been a surprise to him. He thought coming into this year he'd be a full-time center. But he admitted to me in the interview, you'll hear it on Saturday, he says he really likes playing the wing. And I think it's freed him up to focus a little bit more on offense because when you're playing center, you always got to be more worried about the defensive side. So another thing, like I've said in the past, the one thing that really goes in his favor is that he's a Swiss Army knife. He can play either position, center or wing. And we look at the big club right now, over half of their forwards can play center or wing. You got Miller, Pettersson, Suter, Oman, Lindholm, Lafferty. That's half right there. They can play center or wing. So Aatu's putting himself in a conversation for a call-up anytime a player goes down. And I know we're kind of running out of time here in the regular season, but I wonder if the Vancouver Canucks clinch the division and want to rest some players the last few games. I wonder if they reward Aatu and some other young guys that have been having a great season to get a crack. And now thinking of next year, Donnie, maybe he does make the team. As we know, the Canucks are strapped for cash. They're not going to be able to sign all their free agents. What is Rutherford thinking? What is Alvin thinking? Are they moving around the magnets on the whiteboard in the war room and trying to figure out next year's roster? I'm not too sure, but he's definitely put himself in a good place. And a quick side note here, a funny story on Wednesday. Just before the puck dropped, I ran into Jim Rutherford. I met him for the first time in the bathroom. And so I kind of took me by surprise, and I almost stuck out my hand, but I pulled it back because, is there a worse place to meet someone than in a washroom? What's your guys' thoughts? What's the protocol for a bathroom meet for the first time?
You did the right thing. You did the right thing.
I think so.
Except for sticking out your hand.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
It was just a quick one. I don't know if he saw it, Donnie. Maybe he respects that I pulled it back, but yeah, either way, he was a great guy, and he just had some awesome things to say about Abbotsford. He loves what's going on down here.
Yeah, I can back that up. Since they got to Abbotsford, it has absolutely been a tremendous move to get out of Utica over there. Now, let's talk about Jonathan Lekkerimaki, him coming over from Sweden. You got the time change. You got him in a different country. You got him. I mean, there's language issues, but this kid's played 4 games, no points. But I heard from a couple of guys this week, his games in Abbotsford, he's actually doing pretty good. What are your thoughts on Lekkerimaki so far?
Yeah, but before we get into that, I wanted to figure out how to pronounce his name before he played Tuesday. And feel like this, Rick. I get a voice note from the PR guy, Ben Goodman, of Lekkerimaki saying his name, and he said it's Jonathan Lekkerimaki. So if you want to take a quick crack at that, I would love to hear
Hold it a second. Jonathan is say that, Jonathan, again?
Jonathan Lekkerimaki.
Jonathan.
You have enough trouble with Jonathan. Don't worry about it.
Okay, hold it a second. It's not Jonathan, though, right?
No, can I just say something here?
Go.
Patrick Alvin, that's what he called him at the draft.
Jonathan?
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
You can look it up.
So maybe that gets anglicized when he gets to the big club or whatnot.
There you go.
We just saw Seelov change his name to Sheelov when he got called up. So maybe there's an adjustment, but that's what we're going with.
Brandon, nothing against you or the PR guy. I'll stick with Jonathan. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I agree, but to your point, Rick, yes, once you lay eyes on the kid, you notice right away, you see the talent. He's gifted offensively. The shot he has, we've heard about it. It is the real deal. The release is ridiculous. On the Tuesday night game against Manitoba, he could have had a hat trick. He had so many good looks, but couldn't beat Milic, the goaltender from Coquitlam that plays for the Manitoba Moose. He ended that game with 5 shots. He's on the power play playing the bumper spot, which I think is a great position for him because he doesn't need much time and space, like I said, to let his shot go. And the defense has to stay honest and can't give him much time. So that's freeing up other guys on the man advantage. And it's going to take a little bit, right? Like you said, he's coming over from Sweden. The dimensions in the rink are different. The guys may be a little bit quicker, a little bit bigger, more physical. So there's going to be an adjustment. Obviously, he's got to be better in the defensive zone. That's always something that's tough for a young guy breaking into the AHL and NHL. Jeremy Colleton told me when he was coaching in Chicago, Jonathan Toews had a theory that the NHL is played 80% against the boards. So you have to be good in that area, winning battles. And so now that he's here, he's seeing it firsthand. He's getting used to the systems, the teammates, the North American style. It's going to go a long way in his development because when he goes in the offseason in Sweden, he knows what to work on. And when he comes back, maybe he makes a big club. Maybe he starts in Abbotsford. That's okay, too. He's only 19 years old, and hopefully we can see a goal from him this weekend against the Firebirds.
All right, another Swedish player that came over as well, Brandon, Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. How has he been in the game so far in Abbotsford?
Yeah, so first off, the whole nickname thing. I interviewed him after Tuesday's game. I heard you guys talking about him. So I said, his first name is Elias, so it's a little different from Elias, the center in Vancouver, so that's good. So I said, have you thought of a nickname? What can you call yourself when you get to Vancouver? Because this could get very confusing. And he says, I told the guys here in Abbotsford to call me EP, so that's not going to really work. But for now, we'll let that slide in Abbotsford. But no, Rick, he's been so good. I've been so impressed. I did not expect him to pick it up this quickly. He's big. He's 6'4". He's physical. He's defensively sound. He picked up his first point on Wednesday night on a great setup to Tristan Nielsen on a one-timer. And he's one of those guys that searches for contact. I go back to his first game last weekend in Colorado. He stepped up on a guy and blew him up. And then another sequence, I don't know if you guys saw it online, Lekkerimaki got hit. And who was the first guy in there to stand up for him?
Him.
Pettersson. I mean, this guy is a menace out there. He's blocking shots. He's laying the body. And when you think about it, Rick, these are the type of defensemen that you win Stanley Cups with. You look at last year in Vegas, Zach Whitecloud, Nick Hague, those guys, they don't get the headlines. But you know what? They make a living in the trenches, and they lead teams to Stanley Cups. You look at Tampa Bay. Obviously, they got Hedman, but like Chernak. You look at Colorado, who won. They had Josh Manson, Eric Johnson. These bottom-pairing defensemen are so crucial. And he's only 20 years old right now. He's still growing into his body. He's 6'4". He's getting some playing time. I know Jeremy Colton has really liked what he's seen from him. And the offensive side, that may come. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal because his best asset is his defensive game. And he told me his favorite player is Victor Hedman. They look alike. They have that same frame. They're both mean. They're both physical. If he can turn to half of what Hedman is, the Vancouver Canucks will be in very good shape.
Rick's been trying to get a hold of Rutherford for quite a while. What bathroom was it that you ran into him, Brandon?
Yeah.
It's the mini suite. They only have one toilet and one urinal, so it's close quarters. You got to be careful.
Oh, so you were in the suite.
Oh, the broadcast booth. The bathroom is right behind the broadcast booth and the management booth.
He's going to head there right after the show.
I'm going there. Next game, I'm there.
Thanks for this, Brandon. Appreciate it.
No worries, boys. Anytime.